Gonna be my only one shot, and if you guys want me to make this a series, tell me and I'll redo it. So this is what if Izuku Midoriya was a Rainbow Six Siege operator. So he is still quirkless. He does not get one for all, and we start off in the middle of the USJ. So it's currently the USJ is being attacked, and they are holding the students hostage. And the Rainbow Six unit is called to action and is a first response unit to anything villain related with hostages. So Izuku Midoriya is a fresh rookie, and he finally had his gadget put together, and his code name is Quirk. And everybody's like, why is his code name Quirk? And they go, because he's the only one here that is actually quirkless and has a gadget built around quirks. And they ask, what do you mean he's quirkless? And he goes, I'm the only Rainbow Six operator that is quirkless, and I've built my kit around using anybody's quirk effectively. So I'm the person coordinating and giving orders with quirks in mind. And then he dispatches the people to the right corners of the USJ. IQ has a IQ quirk. Smoke has the ability to control his smoke. Fuse has the ability to remote control any bomb that he thinks or wants to turn off or on. And they have the orders to go, and Izuku, being the basically leader of this unit, says, time to breach. Fuse, go. Fuse uses his gadget. IQ is scanning for any electronics and gets a little bit interference and looks towards the rock slide zone and sees a gadget there, and puts it in front of Glass's scope, and Glass has the ability to see any electronic heat source besides normal thermal. He can see the electricity running through items, and he uses his thermal to identify humans. So he sees the gadget and shoots it out, so the antenna's destroyed, so the gadget's gone, and they breach, and Shigaraki and Kurogiri are like, crap, the rainbow unit's here. So they start running, and Izuku comes up behind them and slaps quirk canceling collars on Kurogiri and Shigaraki both, because he's the best person at close quarters combat out of the entire group, and pulls out a pistol and shoots both of Shigaraki's knees and says, you're coming with me, and picks him up over his shoulder because he's stupid strong in this one, and he takes them to the home base and starts questioning Shigaraki. Kurogiri, on the other hand, was deemed irresponsive and put in a ICU unit in a prison, and Kurogiri has been deemed dead since before the USJ, and everybody asks how, and all of a sudden Kurogiri hears a question, and his brain thinks of it as Tomura Shigaraki's voice, or All for One's voice, and he answers it, I am a Nomu, and I have a personality because I was once a human. And so they experiment on Kurogiri, and Kurogiri is painless, mindless, and gets pushed around easy because he is normally told to do stuff. instead of think for himself. So Kurogiri is taken out of the picture. The Nomu was killed by Fuse's fuse because Shigaraki told the Nomu to pay attention to the walls and see if anything will break through. And he saw the fuse pucks break through, and Fuse was about to light them off until he felt their connection weaken a little and then lit them off. So the Nomu got blown to ribbons, or paste, whatever you want to say it. And so we skip to when it's a sports festival and Nezu has the number of the rainbow leader and says, can we borrow your newest recruit, Quirk? And he says, sure, you can have him for a day, and sorry about the plane. And Nezu says thank you, and this is like a week before the sports festival, and Nezu gets the masked man that doesn't look over 15, and he greets him, and he says, my code name's Quirk, my real name Private, you don't need to know that. And Nezu says, I understand, and I shall ask one request. Can you teach my class hand-to-hand combat? And Quirk says, sure. It's now 5 minutes later, and he's being introduced to Class 1A. He sees Katsuki Bakugo and thinks, ooh, this is going to be fun. So Katsuki yells, I don't need a damn extra to teach me. And he still has a mask on and says, Katsuki Bakugo, hot-tempered, loud, obnoxious. You wouldn't last 5 seconds within the training I have. And he goes, you want to bet? And he goes, yeah, let's do it. And Bakugo says, okay, what is the first thing on your training? And he says, a 10K run every morning. And Bakugo pales at this a little, going, what? No human could do that. And he goes, huh, you want to try me? Let's go. 10K. We get back here, we immediately start doing the next exercise. And Bakugo goes, fine. Then he thinks, oh, he's probably going to be winded at the end of this. After the 10K run, Izuku starts doing jumping jacks, and Bakugo says, you're not even winded? And he goes, nope, I've been doing this for the last 5 years. And Bakugo goes, I stopped talking to Izuku 5 years ago. I stopped talking to someone 5 years ago. Who was it? And he thinks Izuku was so insignificant he doesn't remember him. And so Bakugo starts doing jumping jacks, and he's told to do 200 jumping jacks, then 200 sit-ups, 200 push-ups, one-handed push-ups on both arms. So it's 200 on right, 200 on left, and then squats. And by the time he gets to the sit-ups, he is exhausted. And Deku goes, I still haven't even done my workout for today. So I'm going to be doing my workout while you guys are training. So, and he says, you guys do what you normally do for training, and I'll hop in when I need to, and I'll continue my workout. So at the end of the day, everybody's liking the guy and says, what is your name? And he goes, my code name is Quirk. Nothing more, nothing less. And they're like, oh my god, you've said that like 5 times. And he goes, yes, well, I'm on the job. My code name is Quirk. Call me Quirk and I'll respond. They go, fine. That's what they've been using to get his attention all day, is Quirk. And it's now the sports festival, and Aizawa says, why don't we have Quirk participate in the sports festival to show how lacking heroes can be when they first start out. And Nezu says that could be a good idea, but remember, we can only have him participate in one or two activities, and we can't reveal his identity. And Aizawa says that's fine. We shall let him use his full combat gear and show that even with full combat gear, he still is better than most of the students. And Izuku gets another call from Nezu asking if he could join the sports festival for one obstacle race, and Izuku says, sure. And Nezu says in the stadium that they have a special guest from the Rainbow unit to show how qualified they are to do their jobs. This is one elite unit meant for first response on highly dangerous villain activity. And Izuku walks into the stadium and introduces himself as Quirk, and that he is a face for one of the teams of Rainbow. He's the face for the international team for Rainbow, the 6th unit. And Nezu, not knowing the 6th unit compared to the other units, say that he's one of the leaders of Team Rainbow, and he's also quirkless. And when he says that, Bakugo's like, I know a quirkless person. Who the hell is he? And quirkless people are really, really rare in this What If, by the way. It's like 1 in a million chance to become quirkless. And everybody looks at Nezu like he's crazy. And Izuku says, I assure you, I am quirkless. My name is Quirk because I can easily counteract any quirk that I'm dealt with within a few seconds because of my intelligence. And Endeavor goes, bull crap. And he goes, Endeavor, shut the hell up. And with his attitude, everybody's like, who the hell is this kid? And Endeavor goes, why should I? And Izuku goes, I have enough charges to arrest you right this second. And Endeavor shuts up immediately. And Todoroki looks at Quirk and is like, who the hell is he? And they start the obstacle race, and Quirk comes in second because Todoroki got first and Bakugo was tied for first. Quirk got in second because he was right behind them. And Nezu, seeing this, was like, damn, he is smart. And Aizawa and Mike, being in the same room as him, asks, why is he smart? He came in second. Nezu says, his abilities in the Rainbow Team unit require him to see the enemy's quirk before he can react. So if he doesn't know the quirk is coming, he can't see and react. So that's why he claimed second place instead of first. He would have easily beat everybody else to first place. And Nezu walks down on stage and thanks Quirk for showing up, and that he hopes Quirk can change this world for the better. And Quirk says, you're welcome, and that any more fights within the classes or the stadium, and he will personally help deal with them while he's here, because he's currently on vacay from the Rainbow unit and call because of this event. And Nezu says, okay, thank you. And Izuku walks up to the wall and immediately scales it like an assassin from Assassin's Creed. And everybody sees this and like, damn, who is this kid? And he walks up to Endeavor and gives him somewhat gives him the don't say anything a look. And Endeavor, knowing what the kid is doing, is like, fine. So Endeavor leaves and is not there anymore, and Shoto notices that Endeavor's gone, and before Shoto can actually go out on stage for the 1v1s, Izuku walks up behind him in civilian clothes and asks him saying, what is his quirk? All he's seen is ice and his left side, and his right side has been freezing. And Shoto goes, I have a half and half quirk, and my left side is ice and my right side is fire. No, my right side is ice and my left side's fire. And Izuku says, why don't you use your left side then? And Shoto goes, I have my reasons. And Izuku goes, your reasons are dumb. And just walks off. And Todoroki, getting a good look at this kid that's his age, walks out and is distracted. And Bakugo says, Oi, Icy-Hot, why are you distracted? And Todoroki says, I was just talked to by a green-haired, green-eyed kid that's our age. And Bakugo looks like he's seen a ghost. And Izuku, wondering if he should tell Bakugo that he's quirk just to mess with him, says, nah, I'd get more training then. Freaking hate our training. It's fun and all, but it just gets boring. I'd just get more of the same. So he leaves the stadium after that, and later he's contacted by Nezu that there is going to be a hit on his students at the forest training camp. And so Izuku, Quirk, calls Castle, Rook, Doc, and Cav to help with a defense, and they say, sir, yes, sir, and they arrive at the forest training camp, and Cav has her war paint on, Rook has his ballistic shields on, and Castle has his bulletproof barriers. Rook has the ability to immediately print ceramic plates. Doesn't matter how thick, doesn't matter how many, he just has the ability to print ceramic plates. That's it. Castle has the ability to secure anything in place and have it last indefinitely. And Cav has the ability to go into a ethereal mode where she is undetectable by anything. And Doc has the ability to heal any wound, including a headshot. So, the League of Villains happens, and they didn't know that this rainbow unit was there. So, Kurogiri warps them in, and Muscular is going to attack Koda. Everybody else is going to do what they did in canon. But Izuku, thinking that they might use a area of effect person, at the last minute calls in Smoke, saying we may need your help controlling the gas of one of the people, because they may use an area of effect to control an area. And Smoke, understanding, says, sir, yes, sir, I'll be there in an hour. And 49 minutes later, because if he knows he's there on time, he's late and he'll get extra training from Izuku, says, sir, I'm here. And he's currently in gas mask form, and he's ready to control the area, control any smoke in the area. So he says, Smoke, you're on patrol every 30 minutes. Cav, you go and patrol every 5 minutes. Rook, you stay with the children. And Castle, you defend and you lock down and defend the area. I will check on your patrol every 10 minutes on the dot. And if anybody's missing out of their post tonight or tomorrow night, you all get 3 times more training. And they pale at this, and they go, sir, yes, sir, and break off. And when the villains arrive, the fog kid starts using his fog, and Smoke immediately disperses it so no one gets affected by it. Castle is locking down the building. Rook is making Castle's barriers more intact, if that makes any sense. And Aizawa is just seeing this team at work and is like, holy crap. No wonder they're the elite of the elite. But I wonder who this Quirk kid is. And Bakugo, who's currently out on the test of courage, runs into this random kid in the forest before the attack happens and asks who the hell is he, and Izuku Midoriya walks out saying, "Oh, hi, Kachan. Bye, Kachan," and goes behind a bush and disappears. Just completely disappears. And Bakugo sees this and is like, what the hell is going on? First he talks to Todoroki, then he shows up and disappears like a ghost. Where the hell is he? That damn nerd. And Izuku's currently laughing his ass off on patrol, and Cav sees this, walks up to him and says, "Sir, what's so funny?" And he goes, "I'm kind of torturing one of my old bullies." And Cav pales at this and says, "Sir, why are you torturing him?" And he goes, "Maybe because of the 6 years of being quirkless. I was near him. He would constantly blow my face up. He would stab me with sharp items. He would do anything possible to either hurt me or mentally break me. And that's why I'm so good at what I do." And Cav sees the nasty smile that she hates seeing on Izuku, says, "Sir, yes, sir," and just continues her patrol. And he walks up to Smoke, and Smoke says, "There's a gas from over there," and points in one direction, "and I'm dispersing it right this second." And he hands Quirk a gas mask that's shaded on one side. No, it's a mirror on one side. It's a one-way mirror. And he goes through the smoke and he sees all the children and says, "Get back to the base, or get back to the safe zone. We will deal with the villains." And all the children that were in the test of courage immediately run back to the main building. And Bakugo, thinking that he's going crazy, was calm a little, but he still didn't want the first place medal in the sports festival, so he still acted like a rabid beast. So they're trying to get Bakugo, and Deku, finding the clone of Dabi, senses something wrong with this person and immediately shoots him in the head. Because Quirk only carries pistols. He doesn't carry anything else except pistols. So Dabi's clone dies, and Smoke, Cav, Castle, and Rook all hear the gunshot. And Doc. Doc is currently making sure everybody's okay. He's healthy. They all hear the gunshot and get on guard. Doc pulls out his P90. Castle pulls out his shotgun. Rook pulls out his MP5. Cav pulls out her suppressed pistol. And Smoke pulls out his shotgun. And Cav sees the last of the kids run through, puts on her gas mask, and phones into Smoke saying, last kid through, drop the control." So Smoke drops the control of the gas, and it completely just clumps up into one area, because the kid is trying to pull it back in. And so Smoke just released his control over it, and the kid pulled all of it in really quickly, and it all clumped up, and his face mask got clogged, so he got a whiff of his own gas and got knocked out. So the rest of the villains, Compress, Dobby, Toga, Twice, all saw that the kid failed. So they started running to the main building, except for Twice and Dobby. Twice kept making copies of Dobby and starting to burn down the forest. Izuku hears this and calls in another one of the rainbow units, but this is a cleanup rainbow unit, and says that we're going to need fire suppression units and body retrieval units. They say, sir, yes, sir, and Izuku is now walking towards where Twice and Dobby are, and he has both of his pistols out, and he hears Twice yelling in two different voices, and he points his pistol at where the voices are coming from, because he has insane senses for being a quirkless person, and fires and hits Twice directly in the head, right between the eyes. And he couldn't even see Twice, so he fired blind, and he knows exactly where Dobby is because the fire is shooting off in the air where Dobby is, and so he points his gun at where Dobby is and fires his second shot, and Cav, Smoke, Doc, Rook, and Castle all hear those two shots and are like, Captain's going to town again. Because he has Agent 47 accuracy. And he is then running back and says, Cav, mow him down. All that are left is clones. Because I'm saying Twice's clones don't disappear if he dies. And Smoke sees a copy of his captain just in civilian clothes. And he knows that his captain does not wear civilian clothes if he's on the job. Or he knows that there's no threat, then he'll wear civilian clothes. So he immediately mows down the imposter of his captain, and Toga's transformation falls, and he asks, how the hell did she know how to copy him? And Compress is just past Compress is just past Smoke, who's in the furthest back. He's now going towards Castle, Doc, and Rook, and he doesn't know Castle, Doc, and Rook are there. He just thinks that, oh, it's a small team of Rainbow Unit. It's not a large team. And when the body retrieval unit is called, Glass is called just to make sure that there's no hiding dead bodies, and Glass is currently perched on a mountain really, really, really far away, and he calms in, Captain, there's one on the way to the main base. Can I take the shot? And he goes, when you confirm it's a villain, take the shot. If it's not a villain, then don't take the shot. And then Glass says, there's also one on a mountain not too far from you. You want to take that one? Or do you want me to take that one? And he goes, let me take that one. Then Glass says, wait, Captain, there's two. Looks like a little kid. And Izuku goes, oh crap. I'll be there in a flash. You take down the last one that's running towards main. It's running towards the objective. Don't let him get there. And Glass sees this Mr. Compress and sees that he has a coat on because he put on a different scope, so it zooms in. it sees that he has a coat on and that he's running as fast as possible and is holding his hat and is like, Captain, there's a man with a coat. Is he enemy or is he friendly or enemy? And Izuku says, top hat, wears mask. He goes, yes, Captain. That's Mr. Compress. That's one of the LOV. Take the shot. So they hear a sniper shot, and Mr. Compress hears the sniper shot and is like, oh, crap. And he's like, if I keep running, I may die. If I don't stop running, if I stop running, I may die. So he just keeps running, and he gets shot directly in the back of the head, and he falls to the ground. And Muscular is about to punch Koda to kill him, and Izuku walks up in civilian clothes saying, oh, what's here? What's going on here? And he leans down to Koda saying, is this mean guy bothering you? And Koda says, run! He killed my parents! And Izuku goes, oh. And he looks at him and goes, oh, you're Muscular, the wanted villain. I'm gonna get a pay raise for this. And Izuku immediately quickly pulls out a gun and shoots Muscular in between the eyes. And Koda freaks out because Izuku pulled out a gun. And Izuku immediately chops Koda in the back of the neck and pulls him to the side. Not pulls him to the side. Takes him to the area, the safe zone, and says, all targets eliminated. And they all say, yes, sir. And he says, Rainbow team, move out. I shall clean this up. And the cleaning crew comes in, and the fire suppression crew comes in. The fire suppression crew holds only water quirk users, and the cleaning crew has decay quirks, or mainly decay quirks or fire quirks to burn the bodies. So the bodies get removed. The water quirk users use the water to get rid of all the blood and the fire. And now it's the meeting after the incident, and the main Rainbow unit leader says, so, how was it? And Izuku says, it went off without a hitch, sir. And he says, good. I'm enrolling you in UA. He goes, sir? He goes, don't you raise the tone with me. You heard what I said. I'm enrolling you in UA. He goes, sir, but I like doing this. And he goes, yes, you do like doing this. But you don't have any friends your age. Most of your friends are 30s, in their 30s, twice your age, and have been veterans since they were 17, so they've been killing longer than you have. And he goes, sir, but sir, and he goes, I don't want to hear any more of this. You go to UA tomorrow. And Izuku goes, yes, sir. And he calls up Nezu saying, Quirk is showing up, and his real name is Izuku Midoriya. And he goes, okay, I will outfit his room to have what he needs to get comfortable. And he says, no need, just give him a cot and 3 meals a day and he's fine. And Nezu says, okay. And Aizawa, the next day, says, class, you have a new student, and he is the Rainbow Six operator, Quirk. And they're all like, wait, Quirk is coming here to be a student? And he says his real name, and Bakugo acts like he's seeing a ghost when Deku walks in and says, where have you been? And Izuku says, the last few months I've been right here. And Bakugo goes, I know that, but for the last 5 years. And he goes, oh, I was in Germany. I was in England. I was in America. I even went to Hawaii. And Russia. I forgot Russia. And Baku goes, "What the hell? You're quirkless. How'd you get into the most elite of the elite?" And he goes, "Because I worked my ass off more than you've ever done." And he says, "I have right to expel you from this school and arrest you for assault of people and the attempted murder of a child." And Aizawa, hearing this, is like, "What? Wait, what?" And Izuku Midoriya says, "I am the child that he attempted to murder because he said, if you want a quirk," and this was very convincing at the time, "if you want a quirk, just jump off the school roof and you'll get a quirk." And he was standing there with a video camera when I was about to jump. And then someone walked up behind me and gave me an offer. And then I faked my death. And Aizawa goes, "What?" And Izuku says, "I'm technically dead." And he walks to his seat, sits down, and starts disassembling a gun. And we go to the Rainbow Six Siege headquarters, and Glass, who's about to go into the firing range, yells, "Has anybody seen my sniper?" And they go, "No! I think the last one near it was Cap." And Glass looks everywhere and goes into Cap's room and sees Cap is gone. And he goes, "Damn it!" And they all run in saying, "What?" He goes, "Cap took my sniper." And they start laughing, being like, "Yeah, you're not getting that back anytime soon." And then they all look at the door and it shows notes for all of them. For Cav, it shows, "Try working on the length of your quirk." For Rook, is try to work on how many you can create and as how many you can create at a time. And for Castle, is try hitting with a tank shell. And Glass, it says, "Sorry." That's all it says, just sorry. For IQ, it says, "You've been like a mother. Very smart and snobby mother, but been like a mother." For Recruit, because Recruit is someone, it says, "Stop mimicking me, freaking jerk." And Recruit still has a mask on. No one knows what Recruit looks like. And Recruit's quirk is Mimic. So he can mimic any person with skills, and Recruit has mimicked the captain multiple times. And for Tachanka, he says, "Why don't you try a different round through your turret and see if you can get some more damage out?" And he critiques all of them, including Monty and Blitz. He says, "Blitz, you need to work on your speed when you're wielding the shield, and Monty, you're going to need to work on your stability when you're wielding the shield." And he critiques all of them, and then it gets to Ash, and Ash reads it, and then immediately shuts it and yells, "Captain!" as loud as she can. And Izuku, while he's walking to the dorms at this very moment, because he just left class and already knew all this stuff, feels a shiver down his spine, saying, "I think Ash finally read my note." Flashback to a few seconds before Ash's note. "You have the nicest ass in the entire group." And when Ash read it, she immediately went tomato red. And no one noticed because Ash immediately hit her face and yelled "Captain." And IQ snatched Ash's letter and reads it and starts laughing. And She takes a picture and sends it to Izuku saying, "Really?" And he has his phone on him and sends a text back saying, "Yeah." So, I forgot all the operators. Oh, Buck. Buck. Izuku leaves an actual box for Buck. And Buck opens the box and it shows a new nozzle for his blowtorch. And it says on the thing, quieter and a lot hotter for the note. And Capitan, the operator Capitan, because Izuku's operator's name is Quirk, and they all call him Captain. Captain, not Capitan. Capcan. They don't call him Capcan. Cap. They don't call him Capitan. They call him Capcan. They call Izuku Captain because he's normally captain of the Rainbow Squad at the time when he's in the unit. I'm confusing myself at this point. But Capcan sees the note and it has a few triggers in it for some claymores. And he sees these triggers and like, holy crap, these are going to make my claymores a lot better. And Izuku on the note says, "You're welcome." And he just gives a little thing to each of the rainbow operators and then a big note to the commander-in-chief and then a PS on all of them. Give the big note to commander-in-chief and PPS. If you don't ever hear from me again, I'm probably dead, from the commander-in-chief. And they all give the big note to the commander-in-chief. And it says, "Thanks a frickin' lot." And the commander-in-chief starts laughing and says, and then he reads the PS. "I frickin' hate you. I was happy where I was. Now I'm frickin' bored." And then he immediately picks up his phone and calls Izuku. And Izuku was working out. He hears the phone call and hears the dialer's ringtone and is like, "Crap!" He immediately picks it up and says, "Yes." And he goes, "I see your letter. I saw the little message you left for me." And Izuku stiffens. He's like, "I'm sorry, this is the voicemail. I changed my voicemail since the last time you listened to this. Please leave a message at the tone." And he hangs up the call. And the captain says, "Ooh, now it's 5 times the workout he has to do." And all of them pale because they know his workout is 2 times harder than theirs. So everybody gets ready and is ready to do the mock battle for Izuku, and the entire class is the heroes and Izuku is the one villain, to see how good Izuku is, because Bakugo and Todoroki are like, how strong is he? There's no way he's stronger than us. And All Might is there to watch it. Midnight is there to watch it. Mike is there to watch it. And before they start, Eraserhead says, "Are you sure you want to do this? He's the captain of a rainbow unit for a reason." And Bakugo goes, "Huh. Why else would they make him a captain if they're weak like him?" And he goes, "You're going to regret that in a minute." He walks in and he places the explosive charge and he lights an actual explosive charge. And he's told to defend it. And then he's like, "No, this is going to be easy." So he walks down to the front of the building and waits for them and starts placing explosive charges, concussion charges, not actual explosions that will kill them. And he starts using Capkin's gadget. He starts using Castle's gadget. He doesn't have Castle's quirk, he just has Castle's gadget. Then he uses Rook's armor plating to help with the impact of Bakugo's explosions and Mina's acid. He uses shoes specially designed by Cav to help with her sneaking, but he got a pair custom made for himself because he thought that would be a good idea. He uses smoke grenades, gas that only knocks people out this time. Does not actually kill. It disorients them and knocks them out. And he has a gas mask on, and he has all this equipment on, and he looks like a fat version of Rook. And he gives the thumbs up to the camera, because if he starts speaking, it's all jumbled and garbled because of all the equipment he has on. So people start walking in, and this concussive blast is just strong enough to knock them out. So 10 people are already taken out with the concussion blasts from trying to clear rooms to see if the bombs are there. And Izuku has enough equipment on, and the explosive doesn't do enough damage to actually kill anybody. It's just going to hurt like a mofo. So he has rubber bullets on, and if they get hit in between the eyes, it's going to knock them out. And if they get hit anywhere else in the body, it will knock them out because of how hard these bullets hit. It'll either knock the wind out of them or knock them completely out. And the last two people to get into the room, or the only two people to get into the room, is Bakugo and Todoroki. And they see this big dude, what looks like a big dude, and they're like, this ain't Midoriya. And he takes a step forward, and they can't hear his footsteps. And they don't know that this is a mirage from one of the operators that I forgot his name. And he has Valkyrie cams all over the room. And he has Vigil's mask and ability to be not seen by cameras. So he's invisible to cameras, so I'm changing Izuku's quirk, not Izuku's quirk, the person who was in Class 1A for Izuku Midoriya to a rando that has the ability to hack into devices. And with his quirk and his hero suit on, has the ability to hack into the security cameras. So it's now on to the Izuku versus the whole class, and the whole class has been knocked out except for Bakugo and Todoroki. So when Bakugo and Todoroki get to Izuku, they see this big man that slowly walks towards them, and then when Todoroki walks a step into the room, Izuku comes up from behind Bakugo, gets him in a sleeper hold, and covers his mouth so he can't talk. So Bakugo is now out because he's knocked out, and Todoroki looks behind him and doesn't see Bakugo anymore because Izuku dragged him out of the room into the dark hallway. And Todoroki's starting to freak out because everybody has been taken out and disappeared because Izuku's been following them and not actually trying to fight them. So Bakugo wakes up 30 seconds later after he's taken out of the building with tape over his mouth and him bound in the capture tape really well. So he starts yelling, and Nezu walks up to him and says, "Man, the kid that died 5 years ago is really good at fighting." And Bakugo looks at him and goes, "Mmm." He's trying to ask for Nezu to undo the restraints on him, and Nezu goes, "The exercise isn't over, so I can't help you." And all of a sudden, the villain team has won, because Izuku was currently fighting Todoroki. And Izuku, knowing Todoroki's weakness, brought a image of Endeavor with him. So Todoroki has a flashback of daddy issues. And Izuku says, "Identify your foe, make perfect countermeasures so they can't do anything to you." And with that, he has won. And everybody's like, "Man, he used some sly tactics." And Izuku's currently taking all of his gear off in his room at the dorms, and Aizawa, knowing this, walks out into the common room where everybody is and says he has to do that to win. And they go, "What do you mean he has to do that to win?" And he goes, "There's no lose and come back later with what he does." He explains what the Rainbow Team does and what they're capable of doing and what they're allowed to do. And Mina, who asks, he has a license to kill? And Aizawa says, yes, he does. He does have a license to kill. When he's called, that license turns on. When he's off the job, that license turns off, though. Unless he's attacked, which then he turns on the license again. When he's in a fight, he has a license, but when he's out of a fight, he doesn't. And that was a spar, not a fight. And they go, "Wait, what?" And he goes, "Yeah." And he explains that there's defenders and attackers for different, from different areas, and that there's different rainbow teams for different countries, and that the Russians have many different specialists, mainly explosives and defense specialists. And he says that there's a user in there called Capcan, and he's an explosive trap specialist. And then he says that there's a American there called Castle, and he's a lock down a room specialist. And they ask, "What is a lock down the room specialist?" And he goes, "If he's in a room and he doesn't want anybody to enter, no one's going to enter." And they go, "Oh, okay." And then he says, Fuse, on the other hand, if you're in a room and he wants you out of that room or dead, he's going to get you out of that room or dead. And they go, "What do you mean?" And he says, "Does anybody know why his nickname is Fuse?" And Izuku's coming out of his room goes, "I do." And Izuku goes, "For one, no one knows his actual name, that's why we called him Fuse. And for two, his nickname Fuse comes from his gadget." And they go, "What is his gadget?" And he pulls out a hockey puck looking thing. And he goes, "This is his gadget." And Aizawa, knowing who Fuse is and knows what his gadget does, jumps back and is like, "Don't you drop that." And he goes, "Oh, don't worry, it's a dummy grenade." And they hear grenade and they're like, "What?" And Izuku says, "Yeah, it's a dummy grenade. There's no way to actually blow this up." And he throws it at Bakugo and says, "Why don't you try exploding it?" And Bakugo uses his quirk as much force as he can, and nothing happens to it. And he goes, "The only way to actually blow these up is if Fuse tells it to." And Aizawa says, "What do you mean?" And he says, "Fuse's quirk is called Time Bomb." anything he touches, he sets a time to, and it goes boom. That's why that Nomu that you saw in the USJ before when you guys got captured, went splat. Fuse shot in his hockey pucks. And then he says, was anybody in the rock slide zone and the antenna got, the antenna broke? And Kaminari raises his hand saying, I saw the antenna break, and it just snapped. And he goes, no, that was Glaz. Glaz is our sniper. He has the ability to see any electronic devices. If he has a clear visual, he can see any electronic devices and the current running through them. And he has to use a thermal scope to see human bodies, or to see body heat from humans. And then we have smoke. You guys have seen what smoke can do. Remember that big puff of smoke in the middle of the woods, and they go, we think so, yeah. Yeah, that was smoke. He dispersed all that smoke. He has smoke grenades that normally carry lethal toxins, but what I used earlier today was his paralyzing version, which knocks you out and keeps you from waking up for a good hour. And I go, but we woke up like 30 minutes after. And he goes, yeah, I kind of woke you guys up. So it's now the teachers versus students final exam, and Izuku's is to fight cement toss, power loader, and midnight. And then he asks, is it okay if I bring in my squad for this? And we have a teachers versus rainbow unit to see how good you guys are. And Nezu goes, that would be a good idea. And he goes, okay, so Eraserhead, we have Eraserhead, All Might, Midnight can stay, Montos can stay, and Power Loader can stay. And he says, okay, you guys have 5, I will bring 4 besides me, and we'll be the defenders. We have to defend a bomb site for 30 minutes, and if we win or knock you guys out with non-lethal paintballs, and he pulls out a pistol that has paintballs in it, if we knock you guys out with non-lethal paintballs, we win. And they go, sure, why not? And so Izuku says to Nezu, you're going to have to call it in, because if I call it in, I'm screwed. And Nezu goes, okay. And so later, Glaz, no, not Glaz, Doc, and Izuku says, you have 3 healing paintballs that you can shoot us with. And he goes, okay, I will do that. Only 3. Got it. And who else would it bring? Tachanka with the turret. Mute, because Mute has the ability to stop quirks from activating in a area around nodes that he chooses. And Castle. Mute, Castle, Tachanka. No, not Doc. Clash. Clash. We're going to do Clash. So we have Clash, Tachanka, Castle, Mute, and Deku. So they start it, and right off the bat, Deku is sitting at the windows, peeking through the little holes in these slats to see if there's anybody coming towards them. And he sees All Might trying to walk towards them, but getting stopped by Aizawa, and his head's just peeking up above the wall. So Izuku takes the shot and lands a clean headshot on All Might. Because he knows if All Might gets up to full speed, All Might's going to be a very big issue. All Might gets hit in the head, and Nezu on the comm says All Might is out. Headshot. Instant kill. And All Might looks down, a little sad, and walks into the observation room and says that was quick, and he got nothing. He didn't get anything to do. And Midnight, Cementos, and Powerloader are immediately rushing, and Aizawa is tasked to take out Izuku because he's pretty much the strongest melee fighter they have. But instead, he meets up with Cav, and he gets absolutely demolished by Cav because she uses her suppressed pistol to kill Aizawa from behind. And Aizawa is now out. Midnight gets shot in the back, and they have bodysuits on to tell them pain areas, and the pain actually starts like they've been shot. So the Rainbow unit and the Hero unit, or the heroes, all have shock suits on to feel the pain. Izuku's shock suit is 2 times the normal rate of pain, and Aizawa gets shot in the head. He feels the paintball. He says he's out. Midnight gets shot in the back, and she feels a searing pain like she's just shot, and keeps running, and then all of a sudden she gets lit up by a stationary target from behind what looks like a barricade. And she sees, and it's Tachanka, the defender, and she asks, "Oh, come on, is that even legal?" And Tachanka says, "Not in Japan." And Izuku over the comm say, "Nope, not even a slightly. But that's why we picked it. Because it's a paintball version that we use normally for training." And we normally don't train with our quirks, so you guys are getting an exclusive. And 5 minutes later, all the heroes are now out, and the Rainbow unit wins. The only one who actually put up a real fight was Powerloader, and that's because he had a helmet on and he had defense over his face and body. And since Bakugo never got captured, it doesn't do that. The Chisaikai arc, Team Rainbow is sent out to deal with a threat of the Yakuza, because they have rumors that the Yakuza are now using quirk canceling bullets. So they go out, and Izuku runs that show, and it's a sweep and clear. No one left alive, and Izuku gets a phone by Cav. No, not Cav. By no, Buck has a shotgun. Buck has a shotgun. Why did I say Buck back then? The one who has a gadget for a blowtorch. He gets a call by Buck, and Buck says, "I've cleared the third floor, and there seems to be a cell here. What do you want me to do, sir?" And he says, "Open it, see what's inside. If it's a villain, kill it. If it's a hostage, bring it out to me." And Buck says, "Sir, yes, sir," and clears the entire floor, and then goes back to the cell and shoots open the lock and walks inside and sees a little girl. And he says, "Sir, we found a little girl." And Izuku says, "Package received. Bring it home." And he goes, "Sir, yes, sir," and picks up Eri and starts carrying her. And he says to the others, "Package received. Bring it on home. We're done here." And they all start retreating. And Overhaul, who's dead on the floor, because he was on the third floor and Buck killed him before he even got a chance to notice that he was being attacked, is confirmed dead with the cleanup crew, and the cleanup crew who quarantines off the area, and then the government comes in and deals with it. So it's now... yeah, that's the last arc. I didn't need to do the test. I did the heroes versus villains with the class versus deku. Teachers versus rainbow unit. Yeah, that's my first one shot. I'll probably get better the more I do them, but I'm probably not going to do very many of them. So if you guys like this one shot and want me to make it a series, tell me. I'll gladly make this a series, because I've thought of ideas for Izuku's gadget and his ship if he ever was in the rainbow unit. So comment if you guys want it. If you don't, oh well. See you guys next time. Bye!